No, this is something I could really resonate. I truly believe empathy, but thinking in the other person's shoe, no matter from a senior or junior perspective. If you can have a more objective view of trouble situation, that's when you'll be able to work with the people to get the best solution.
Because I think at the end of the day, right, there's nothing wrong. Company will somehow demand something from the staff, but then what about the staff? Can they demand anything? Usually it's just one way, right? But then everybody come with his own bag, and people also at different point of their life, of course, face challenges. Or it could be it can be health related, themselves or someone else. Maybe they lost somebody they love, or maybe that even their pets passed away. But this is the most important thing for them. So how do you help them, to go through and deeply care for those person? Ultimately, they will. If you do it, without any objective, you do it genuinely, you will get it back 100 times more.
No, I completely agree. And would you say Bravo, that would be Bravo's culture in your words?
Yes. It has to be a very, human and humanistic, a company, because we're still very, very young, very agile. So we need, everybody is, pushing their own boundaries. If there's nothing, if a company say, we want to challenge the status quo, but then you also do not challenge yourself, or the people that are part of the company do not challenge themselves, then how can things can actually happen? So I think this is a more, and I think the word which really we are doing is to create a sense, of family, right? Because you go to work more than you spend time with your family and your loved ones. So at the end of the day, if you do not enjoy, the company, your colleagues, your boss, and the whole meaning of your job, then you're more likely to leave faster, and then that will also have an impact on the overall growth of the company. So we managed to do that, but of course it's ever changing, because back in 2021 when we started the companies, around 25 people, and after to 30 people, and ultimately when we get the MTR contract, we move from 30 people to 110 now. So you more than triple the size of the company within like less than 6 months. Then that will have could have a major impact on the company culture. So how do you make sure that when you bring so many new people on board, everybody can still understand and work collaboratively together? So it's not easy, but if you have a good foundation and supportive team members, and then it works.
As a leader, do you see a huge difference in managing 35 when you hit? I've always believed when you have a smaller team, you've got a much kind of warmer environment. As you expand the team, there's more structure, there's a lot more guidelines because you've got so many people. Does the culture change? Like, was there any changes in the management style when you have 30, 20 people? Now that you've got 110.
I think it's still the same, just as to be as close as possible to people. So engage, try to also like to have more a flat structure. So not necessarily building a pyramid or any kind of thing. So there's first flat structure, so they can there is no one or nothing that could slow down the pace of decision making. So I think the flat structure definitely helps, and then also having everybody together. So we operate Bus Buddy Advertising from Citybus and MTR, right? So they're also competing platform, but we have everybody in the same office, so we can also collaborate, compete and collaborate. So I think that's the amazing part. But ultimately, is I think the word that discussed before is family, the sense of family. So you just have a few more brothers and sisters. So it just and then I think it's if you get the right culture, then then people will embrace also that culture. They will observe and they will feel comfortable and welcome. So we have a lot of different activities. We have TGIF, people. We have lunch and making sure that people they may not work directly together on a daily basis, but then they still have to know what the colleague is doing, not in details, but also know their names. For example, you go to office and you don't know the colleague sitting on the other side of the corridor. That would be a little bit sad. So just that simple thing, knowing everybody's name, it's already a good start.
I think I already feel the warmth of the Bravo culture already, and but on the other hand, it's actually very Asian. Like I think Asian Chinese especially. We grew up talking about family. No matter if you look at the movies, like if you were in the martial arts school as a family, you're at work, you're a family. I think this is kind of a traditional Asian value that we have. So I can see that you've already blend Asian and the Western culture nicely together.
Yes.
And then we're in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is such a vibrant city, but where East meets West as well. So I can definitely see there's such a big it resonates. The culture resonates with the market. Yes. And so moving forward, I think beyond this, what are you building beyond revenue with Bravo? You've built the culture. What's your expectation of Bravo in the coming 10 years?
I think it still remain, grow the market share. I think, as a company, we've been quite successful with the 2 ventures, and we are looking at, other opportunities. But yeah, just of course go beyond just the number. I think it's creating, the different touch point, because as a consumer, right, you engage with from the morning that you leave your home, you go through a bus shelter, and then you get on the bus, or you go to the MTR, and then you walk, you see billboards. How can we have a more holistic approach to the advertising? So then you also obviously have your phone, you have a multiple different touch point. So how could we actually manage the different touch points of that journey? If ultimately us Bravo Media, if we can do that, I think that will be a very wonderful feeling. So we can think the message is consistent across the different platform, and I think ultimately that's also help the brands to be more visible and to be more more relevant to their audience, because everybody's on his phone, and then how do you make sure that the person can lift up their eyes to look around, right? So ultimately it's possible, but it needs some consolidation to make it happen.
Now especially in Hong Kong or in general, we live in a world of fast change, especially in the advertising industry, with all the changes in digital formats, AI. Right. What would you see as the biggest threat in the market, or the biggest challenge up ahead in the coming years?
Let me think. I don't really see, the threats, because ultimately, the different media, the different platform have their own strengths, right? If you look at, just like programmatic is not a threat to digital, it's just very complementary, right? Depends on what, the brands are, what do they want to achieve as their needs, and then you have different type of solution for different needs. Ultimately, they're all very complementary to each other. So I think the biggest threat you know what it is? It's ourselves. not to be able to, adapt fast enough or change fast enough. So other people will, come over you. And then just like what we've been doing, you have an outsider coming with a fresh mind and then challenge the status quo and able to build, something new. But if you are not, challenging yourself, over the long term, there will be another challenger, right? So again and again. So how do you still, keep that, that spirit over the long time, and then you can maintain or even grow your business.
So, in other words, it's more about challenging yourself, continue to grow and innovate.
Yeah.
So once we stop innovating and rely on the same things, eventually it will fade out and something else will come.
Correct.
I think that's also speaks a lot in advertising in general. We constantly using the same medium, same approach, because we have short-term success.
Correct.
And then once they forget about the innovation, and then once the market shift change, then it becomes very hard to adapt.
Yeah. You don't want to be lazy, because it's okay to oversleep, one morning. But then if you do that consistently, then your performance definitely will decrease, and you will disappear as a company. So I think, it's knowing where you come from and then where you want to be, and then be able to navigate, the environment. Today is like that, tomorrow will be different, the day after tomorrow will be also another type of challenges. So I think the companies that are still able to navigate and be agile enough, within, this environment are the ones that can, still be there, in 5, 10 or 20 years later.
How about AI? I mean, we're moving into the world of AI, helping us pretty much do everything right now. So what's your view on AI, especially in the world of advertising or in out of home?
Well, we're all using ChatGPT or DeepSeek, right? So I think this is just a tool. I think it's, depends how you use it. So this is a very powerful tool, and I think it can help, everybody to work more, efficiently and save a lot of time. So definitely there will be some impact maybe for some specific task, but I think ultimately is just becoming a tool to make your job, more efficient. And it's also how you use the tool, right? Even I give you a Ferrari, but you don't know how to drive it, then you will crash. This is the same for generative AI. You have to know how to use the tool, and some people will be able to use the tool in a better way, and those guys will be the winners. But if we see, a threat to everything, then it will, inhibit ourselves to make anything, and then people will just overtake you, and then you lost the race. So I think ultimately with new technology, it's about embracing, and then, get on the train first, and then figure out, what's the destination later. So I think the AI is just like that.
I think there's so much synergy for AI and outdoor advertising in general, right? Like, I think because I see Bravo is pushing not just advertising, but more a user experience. Do you see like integrating AI into promoting that to clients' campaign to have a more interactive experience? What's your thought on this?
We've been using AI a lot already, but it's more from a creative, standpoint. For example, last year for working, with MTR, we ran the Mother's Day, which was engagement on the AI level. So you take a picture of yourself and then you become a queen, and then, it's very engaging. It was, bringing, a lot of happiness on all those mom faces. So we're already using it, at that level. We're also using it from on the back-end system. We create, system that help us, the operation team, to work more efficiently. And with the help of the AI, really help us to be more efficient. Make it, as your assistant. Working, 24/7. Every time.
No, I agree. There's so much more we can leverage AI. The campaign you did, I remember seeing the demo at IAB event last year.
Yes.
And that was amazing. I think I had a few pictures, and I think end up my colleagues they're still using that as a sticker.
Yeah.
So when they're trying to have a go at me, they will send me a sticker on WhatsApp. So that was that was really good. I think that was something I really enjoyed. Like and that's something that's really out of the box. It's never been done.
Correct.
We're using technology, partnering with traditional media,
yes,
and then create an experience that completely new.
Yes.
So I think that's something that I personally very appreciate as well.
Thank you.
So to wrap things up, I just want a few moments to kind of again talk about you and your thoughts and some words you can share with the younger generation or people that's coming up, and just to give them a taste. So tell me one thing that people don't understand about being a managing director.
I think ultimately, the managing director or the management in general, they need to make difficult decisions sometimes. So the ability to make decisions, I think that's the one of the strongest. Let me rephrase. So the ability to make decisions, in a company is the strongest, asset for managers, because you need to have the overview of where the company is going, and then sometimes along the way you need to make difficult decisions, but it will help you to go even further. So I think that's the first one. And then sometimes people talk about the loneliness of the top management, right? Because when there is you need to be strong, right? Especially when people, feel insecure or unclear, you need to bring back the confidence. So you need to have, extra energy to give to them, to compensate, sometimes, of course, they will give you energy, but, I think that's important. And I think, it's all about connections. So I will say to anyone is to build your connections, in any way, shape or form. You can attend some association, some chamber of commerce, try to meet as many people as you can, because you never know, right? Today is a friend, maybe the day after it will be a colleague or a client. It could be even your boss, 5 years later. So you want to create the relationship. And I think it's also about being curious, try to explore different type of things, a different stage of your career, try to see what you really like, what are your strengths, play by your strengths, try to, hide a little bit your weaknesses or find someone else that, have that your weaknesses become someone else's strength. So you play with your strengths, and you find the other people in your team that can, support you, especially on your weaknesses. And then it looks amazing. Looks like a team. So I think that's important. And then
I think that's really good point. I think no one is perfect. It's all about knowing your team, the strength of your team. I think as a leader, being able to bring the best quality out of your team members and be able to communicate and put the whole project together.
Yes.
I think that's one of the attribute being a leader. That's the most important attribute.
Because at the end, you don't want to have a superstar, no, because it's just like a football team, right? If you have like plenty of superstar in a team, then you have a high ego, and then ultimately they can't play together. Yep. So you have to find a team that is willing to play together and then leverage each other's strengths, so it looks very strong, and then it feels like, it's amazing also chemistry between the different people.
What's the most rewarding part of your role?
I think the most rewarding part is the growth of the people. We came, arrive, November 2021, taking over the team at that time, and then we give them freedom. You give them, a sense of accountability, and they will really, really surprise you all the way. You become, someone maybe themselves couldn't even believe they actually become that kind of person. So I think to see the personal growth of the team members is still the most rewarding part. Yes.
What about the most draining part then?
Let me think. Training. I don't have. Let me think. Training is
It's okay if you don't have it.
No. It's so the most draining. Sometimes of course everybody's human being, right? So sometimes you can also a little bit down, But then when you think about same, it's true when you think about the people, and then that you have a sense of responsibility, right? From being the first employee and now having a responsibility of 110, then it put pressure on the shoulders. But these guys really take it seriously, and we work together as one family. So it brings actually a lot of energy more than anything else.
And lastly, look, to end this, what would be your one piece of advice to marketers and people in the industry?
Mm-hmm. I think the advice is always try something new. Same, just as a company, you can't be lazy and then establish on your reputation. I think everybody should be the same. Challenge themselves and explore other avenue to that can help themselves and help their company, help their product to grow. So don't be lazy and go out there and then keep the fighting spirit. That's the only way that we can change the outcome. There's like the what's the Chinese, the 躺平. Yeah. Don't lay flat. Don't lay flat. And then if you want to make a better place, a better career, a better environment for yourself, then go out there and then go and fight.
I think one thing Hong Kong people are very good at is being resilient and always fighting. So thank you very much, Richard, for coming
Alex.
on the podcast. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you.